So we're pleased this evening to have Alden James, the president of the National Arts Club here, say a few words before we begin, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's exciting tonight to be here in the Grand Gallery in this tribute to Sherry Britton. And speaking for myself, I'd rather hear Sherry Britton than the President of the United States. We can get that on. I wish, her wisdom and life experience could be there at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But in a serious vein, I want to say it's wonderful for us here at the National Arts Club to have Sherry Britton celebrate this milestone. And let's hope, of course, she rivals Rose Kennedy in longevity. So we're just beginning many birthdays here at the National Arts Club. Many more birthdays. Sherry, in addition to her own membership, has been a wonderful patron to the National Arts Club. And I know our curator here, who works full-time on our permanent collection, has much more to work with because of Sherry Britton and her multiple donations. In terms of her own individuality, she has been a survivor. It's hard to believe that God was so generous. I mean, I see a picture of a 15-year-old. I'm in the local high schools. I don't see 15-year-olds look like Sherry Britton, even in a 3,000-member high school right down the street. God, unbelievably, was generous to this woman. But tonight, of course, what's obvious is her soul and her heart. And while we're in a bachelor's house, in the 19th century, never found a life partner when he died in 1886. But if Sherry Britton had been a little older, I think she would have tied up this major New Yorker. So on behalf of the club and the full membership, I want to say happy birthday, Sherry Britton. And I know personally I feel very honored to be in her audience and be a friend. Thank you.
Good evening, family and friends.
Wow.
Can't hear? Is that better? Good evening, family and friends.
Good.
Sherry invites you to join her on her ego trip to yesterday, today, and of course, tomorrow. So without any further ado, here is the one and only Sherry Britton.
By the way, that announcement was made by Nanette Scotland, my catty friend with the acid tongue. But she's what? She has put a lot of spice and fun into my life and to my one-woman show. Thank you, Nanette. Now, I have to tell you that I am delighted that you're here. But I'm even more delighted that I'm here. You see, after 15 foster homes, 2 orphan asylums, a hair-raising escape from the wilds of Burlesque, I'm here. And at 85, thank you. And at the age of 85, I don't have very much wrong with me. I'm very lucky. Yeah, my hands are screwed up by arthritis so that I drop everything that I touch. But there's a good side. Something is, the good side is that I get a lot of exercise, picking things up, and my doggy loves the food that I drop. Now, other than that, my voice is a mess because of acid reflux. I don't think I'll sing La Boheme tonight, or much of anything else, but you're going to get it anyway, I would say. And I don't have to listen because I'm hard of hearing. Okay. Now, I think that's a cue, isn't it? Oh, no. You're right. You see, according to our rehearsal on Friday, I'll be using Paul as my prompter and my diary as a guide. And, thank you. He's gorgeous. Michael, are you engaged?
Always.
Okay, now. Okay, let's go. I've been so many places in my life and times. I've sung a lot of good songs and made a few bad rhymes. I've lived my life on stages with 10,000 people watching, but that was then. And this is now. And I'm singing my song for you. Now, join me on my journey after I wet myself. Okay. In fact, I better hang on to this because I am so dry. Okay. What comes next? Well, I'll tell you what. I have to depend upon my diary because it's been a very long life. And I have mixed things up so much that I can't keep track. So again, between Paul and my diary, I shall be trying to do it without looking at the diary. Now, the life has been, no, don't touch it, unless somebody else comes in. No, thank you. Anyway, thank you. I have a long career in show business, and let's face it, I was a sex symbol. So naturally, I attracted a lot of men, on and off stage. Some were just dates, some became my leading men, some got to know me in a biblical sense, and others just laid claim. To all the men I've loved before, who traveled in and out my door, I'm glad they came along. I dedicate this song to all the men I've loved before, to all the men I once caressed. And may I say I held the best. From coast to coast to coast, I raise my glass and toast all the men I've loved before. Now, let me see. There was Jack Lemmon, very nice fun date, just a fun date because I kept it that way. Then there was Jerry Lewis, who brought me out to Hollywood for Cinderella, the male version of Cinderella. Judith Anderson was the cruel stepmother. Edwin was the fairy stepfather, godfather, and there were two obnoxious stepbrothers. Edith Head made me the most gorgeous gown you've ever seen, and I never got to wear it. Because mid-picture, I had a sex change. Jerry Lewis decided that I should be a boy helping Edwin. I had a top hat, I had boy or girl, I never appeared in the picture. On the floor. Then there was Steve Allen. I did a sketch on his show with Abbott and Costello. And afterward, Steve asked me to join his TV family. I had to be, part of the performance would be as a calendar girl. My manager said, "But Sherry, you'll be showing your legs." I was already famous for showing a lot more than my legs. Very stupidly, I refused. Steve Allen and I had a very nice romance. Now, there was Jason Robards. We were in love, but he was still drinking very heavily. This is pre-Lauren Bacall. And I couldn't take it, so I wrote it off. Then there was Paul Newman.
Paul Newman?
Yes, you don't believe me.
Well,
I don't believe me either. Well, Paul was starring on Broadway in Picnic with Ralph Meeker, and one night the three of us went out and had a lovely meal together. And then, I can't believe this, I went off with Ralph Meeker. Whatever happened to Paul Newman? The winds of change kept on blowing, and every time I tried to stay, the winds of change just kept on blowing, and they carried me away to all the men who shared my love, some below and some above. I'm glad they came along. I dedicate this song to all the men I've loved before. Now those down below were men like Howard Hughes, 1 second, Orson Welles, Yul Brynner, each one a strange encounter. The details are in my autobiography if I only live long enough to finish it. Then there was sweet, gentle Gig Young. We were engaged for 9 months. Then there was Cary Grant. We were engaged for 9 minutes in conversation. Then there was Jackie Gleason.
Jackie Gleason.
Now, surprisingly, he was one of the most romantic men that I ever knew. Speaking of romance, there was Harry Belafonte. It was 1951. Roy is shaking his head because he was there when it happened. In fact, Harry gave him a watch. Why did he give you the watch, Roy?
For watching.
For watching? Anyway, there was even more prejudice than there is today. And Harry was good enough to star at the Thunderbird, but not good enough to eat in their dining room. So at my request, all the stars of Las Vegas joined me, and we marched into the Thunderbird dining room, and they served us with Harry. Once. We changed nothing. But that indignity endeared Harry and I to one another. Daylight come, me no wanna go home. To all the men who cared for me, who filled my nights with ecstasy, there is a special place for every loving face of every man I've loved before. And speaking of ecstasy, there were 3 really exciting years with Sexy Rexy. He was still married to Lily Palmer, even though it wasn't a working marriage, so I kept it a secret. And I used to take him for Sunday drives. And one day, my bell rang and a very excited neighbor said, "That was Rex Harrison." I said, "He does look like him, doesn't he?" I was keeping it a secret. Anyway, Rex was the only one who ever asked me to strip for him. All the rest wanted me to sing. The winds of change were always blowing, and every time I tried to stay, the winds of change just kept on blowing, and they carried me away. I'd love to have been carried away by Alistair Cook, but his heart and his libido belonged to his beloved wife, Jane. He's now 95 years old and not left to be tonight. So I sent him an invitation, and I said, if you could attend, it would give me great joy. I hope you are both well. And his answer was, alas, dear, dear Sherry, you must go joyless. I have not left this apartment, literally, for 14 months. We wish you as many healthy returns as you wish yourself. Feebly, fondly, which is sweet. Our 60-year friendship has been a great gift in my life. Oh, now I also have a vivid memory of Jose Ferrer, who gave me the performance of his life. I couldn't have survived an encore. You know, mutual friends told me that he denied he'd ever been close to me. Now that was a switch, I'll tell you. I guess he couldn't accept a rejection after such an Oscar-winning performance. Now let me see, who else? Oh yes, Hugh O'Brien. Remember him? Wyatt Earp? Only I nicknamed him Wyatt Earp. He wanted to eat and run. Okay, now let me see who else. Did I leave anyone out? What's this?
Well, this is the East Coast Division.
Oh, come on, now just a damn minute. Oh, I don't remember them. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, The Incredible Hulk. How the hell did they get in?
They auditioned.
Did they climb or fly?
What? No Sinatra?
Sinatra. Wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. And that was about the size of it. Now, to all the men I've loved before, who traveled in and out my door, I'm glad they came along. I dedicate this song to all the men I loved before. There is a special place for every loving face of every man I've loved before. Now I have a special treat. 22 years ago, I conceived, wrote, and produced another version of The Best of Burlesque. My top banana was a wonderfully talented guy named Brandon Macker. And he came from California with his two lovely daughters. And now I'd like to show you a scene that we did together. And I want to tell you that I was 63 years old. Can we have the lights down, please? Thank you. Now, pantomime. Can you all see?
no recollection of the runway days would be complete without mentioning that vanishing race, the stage door Johnny. Did you know the girls had them in categories? There were drugstore Johnnies, those who could be counted upon to buy a girl the cosmetics she needed. There were dinner Johnnies, there were nightclub Johnnies, and believe it or not, there were G-string Johnnies. Thank you. This is a G-string. Only it doesn't go on a violin or a cello. It goes, well, anyway, you can see it's elaborately beaded, all handmade, and cost a small fortune. Thank you. For some girls, of course, it was a game of how much can I get from him before he gets too much from me. She was the vamp who's been around since time began and was always a favorite subject in burlesque, as you will see when we slink into Watch Your Wallet, Boys, or a loaf of bread, a slug of wine, and pow!
got in your pockets that made this lady faint?
Pockets? Who's got pockets?
Thank you. Is he adorable? Okay, now to continue with my journey. I starred in 53 shows, but my favorite role was Adelaide in Guys and Dolls, because she waited 14 years to get married, and I waited 12. Now, it says here, the average unmarried female, basically insecure, due to some long frustration, may react with psychosomatic symptoms, difficult to endure, affecting the upper respiratory tract. In other words, just from waiting around for that plain little band of gold, a person can develop a cold. You can spray her wherever you think in the straight to cockeyed, like you can give her a shot for whatever she's got, but it just won't break. If she's tired of getting the fisheye from the hotel quake, a person can develop a cold when they get on the train for Niagara, and she can hear church bells chime. The compartment is air conditioned, and the mood sublime. Then they get off of Saratoga for the 14th time. A person can develop blood grip, long post-nasal drip, with the wheezes and the sneezes, and a sinus that's really a pip from a lack of community property, and a feeling she's getting too old. A person can develop a blood cold. By the way, I should tell you why I'm so dry. I have an old lady's affliction called Sjogren's. That's where all your orifices are dry. Some I don't care about because I had them sewn up after Bob died. But I do care about my mouth and my eyes. Now, this is about some people in the audience because I'd like to introduce them after I tell you a little story. When I was 37 years old, I was engaged to Peter Shattuck, the heir to the Schraft restaurant fortune. The only difficulty was that he was 23, 14 years difference. So I was persuaded by his family and other disapproving friends to break off the engagement. I was having my 70th birthday party here. And as I was dressing, I looked in the mirror and I said, you know, Bob, if I had known I was going to look this good at 70, I'd have married Peter. And my darling Bob, while I complained about the losses from old age, he said, yeah, but what's left is too good to throw away. Absolutely adorable. Now, I'd like to introduce some guests. They're here tonight, and all of you have had some beneficial impact on my life. I can't mention everybody, but I'd love to. And I do fervently thank you. Now, a friend who came from California is Roy Stewart. He was my comic 50 years ago, and he was let loose in the candy store of 24 chorus girls. He was 19 years old. We opened our show in Elko, Nevada, and nobody bothered to tell me that the show was going on. So after the third intro, Roy did my song and did my strip. I'd love to have seen that. Thank you, Roy.
Watching the show changed my life in strange ways. Now, if anybody says Sherry, somebody, Vicky, say Sherry.
Sherry.
Yes. So thank you.
Thank you. Now, we have a delightful lady, lovely singer, Claire Barry, of the Barry Sisters, and she's still going strong. Thank you. My sister is here. She's 36 years younger than I am. I'm from my father's first wife, and I was born when he was 19 years old. And she's from his fourth wife. And she's here with her two adorable children, whom I haven't seen in a number of years, and they're young ladies now. People grow up, don't they? And here's her husband, Alan. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, since I was always on view, I had a marvelous wardrobe. And I kept most of it. But even though I weigh the same, I can't fit into the stuff anymore. So I have found 4 ladies to whom I have given different outfits. One is my darling cousin, Elaine, who's a nurse who always comes to see me. And then the second is a lovely lady named Jill Morley. She's a picture producer and a time writer, and she got one of those, some of the outfits, I should say. Now, the third is another cousin, Karen Britton. Where are you, Karen? Yeah. And the fourth is my banker. Nicole, where are you? She wore an outfit tonight because I asked her to please stand up and show me the outfit and the banker.
Painted Sherry.
Thank you, Nicole. You're gorgeous. Almost as good as I do.
Can I open an account?
What?
Can I open an account then?
You know I can't hear.
Oh,
Okay, you'll do it, you'll tell me later? Okay. Now, Kevin McMullen is here, who is a very creative singer and entertainer. Kevin? Thank you for coming, Kevin. Now, I have a poker game at my house every Wednesday night from 7 to 11:30. Nominal stakes. I am soliciting. We need a couple of hands. One of our players is Tally Wences, the widow of Senior Wences, the ventriloquist. I asked her how the marriage was, and she said, we didn't talk for 56 years. Now that's a perfect marriage, no? Now, there are several doctors and lawyers here. I had my husband give me a Somerset Maugham, the rights to a Somerset Maugham novel up at the Villa. And I sold it a couple of years ago to be made into a film. And on the first day of filming, they were supposed to give me a hunk of dough. and they refused. A couple of lawyers tried to get the money for me, and finally, Alvin Deutsch, lawyer superb, got the money for me. Thank you, Alvin. Now, my accountant, for some reason or other, isn't here. And he's so dedicated, and he's an absolute darling. And I have a dentist whom I trust, whom I believe in, and that's a rarity for me. That's Dr. Michael Brawl. Thank you, Dr. Brawl. Now, my doctor, who lives in the same house and has his office in the same house as mine, Dr. William Silver. One morning I awakened and I was dizzy and I thought I was having a stroke. You know, at my age you think all kinds of things. And Dr. Silver came to my apartment at 8 o'clock in the morning and determined that I just had vertigo. My doctor went out and got me, drowned me, and brought it back to me. When did you ever experience that? That's my doctor. Thank you. Well, that's about it. Let's go on with the journey. Oh no, I've forgotten something very important. It took 8 years and 14 blood-sucking lawyers, and my husband's estate still wasn't settled. So a friend whom Nanette had introduced me to, Judge Millard McDonagh, he said to me, Sherry, I'm going to settle the estate so you can get on with your life. He did, and I did. Thank you, Will. Now, where am I? Oh, yes. Now I'd like to introduce a longtime friend. He's delighted audiences all over the world, and he's best known as Private Zimmerman in the, you're laughing already?
Sergeant Bilko.
As in Sergeant Bilko, Phil Silver's TV show. Would you please come? I haven't even asked him yet. Would you please come up and say a few words?
Hello, good. Thank you, Doc.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. You sound like my wife. 5 minutes. I listened to the list of men in your life. You know. Now I know why you became a stripper. You had no time to put your clothes on. And the Million Man March didn't start at Farrakhan. It started at the home of Sherry Britton. It's a fantastic party. It really is. And why not? It's the only party I was ever in that was paid for by Medicare. And I watched your career go from MCA to HMO. And you were so cute. You were so lovely. And you still are the same way. And when you talk to you, you know that you've been there. It reminds me of the man who was in a hospital, and he walks into the nursery. And the nursery have a tendency to talk baby talk. He bangs on a crib. Finally gets to one crib, says to the baby, "How old are you?" Baby said, 3 days old. He's like, "How did you get here?" My mother and father had relations, and I'm the product. My God, you're only 3 days old, and you know all of that? Baby said, "Well, I wasn't born yesterday." To see you in such good shape at 85, it's fantastic, because I've been a lot of time in Florida, and I got caught in the heat wave recently. In fact, 300 people got their canes stuck in the tar. And in Florida, if you're Jewish and and you live in Florida, you have a tendency, you have some kind of disease, something is coming. These three men are in the desert, a Russian, a Frenchman, and a Jew. The Russian says, I'm tired, I'm thirsty, I must have vodka. The Frenchman said, I'm tired, I'm thirsty, I must have wine. The Jew said, I'm tired, I'm thirsty, I must have diabetes. And this year in Florida was very exciting. The Hilton chain took over the Fontainebleau. And they had activities, and that was, they had a palm reader. I was watching her work. She was reading a woman's palm. She said, your husband will die a violent death. The woman said, will I be acquitted? And you proved there's no such thing as old. You're not old. You know when you're old. You come into a doctor for an x-ray, and he picks you up to the light. Then you know you're old, really. If you have a policy from John Hancock, signed by John Hancock, and you have a beautiful apartment, fantastic antiques. You bought them when they were new. And you know, as a man, you know how you know you're getting old? As a man, first of all, you forget places. Then you forget names. Then you forget to zip up. Then you forget to zip down. Then you're big. But I have to tell you, it's so exciting. This is just a beautiful, beautiful party. Really, I thought it was about mitzvah with all the food. But you know, I must say, if you come to Florida, I have an uncle who is in Florida. My aunt is there. She's in Century Village. She's there on a scholarship. And she proved. She just wrote a book at 85. A bestseller at 85. 27 new ways how to be a burden on your family. So I met this couple in Century Village. The groom was 92, the bride was 90. I said, my God, how did you meet? They took a GI series together. And they were having trouble with their sex life. So I said, listen, because I heard the wife say to the husband, Morris, let's go upstairs and make love. He said, one or the other. So I said, listen, you're a flirt. You don't have to suffer like that. Go to a doctor. They went to a doctor and explained the situation. The doctor put him on a vitamin regime. Put her on vitamin E, him on iron pills. Her on vitamin E, him on iron. So I met him before I left Florida. And I'm like, Myra's, hello, how's it going? She's ready and I'm rusty. And the doctor said, as long as you came to complain about your sex life, there are questions I have to ask you. For instance, how often do you and your wife have sex last month? He said, who remembers a caller? That's good. He down the phone and said, how often did you and I have sex last month? The wife said, who's calling? And if you come to Florida to a doctor's office, you hear sounds you've never heard in your life. You hear coughing, sneezing, farting. Oh. I was in a doctor's office with my uncle. By the way, they treated him for 6 years for arthritis. Then he found out he had a pebble in the shoe. So I came to visit him, and I met him. He certainly didn't look like he used to. In fact, he was a shell of his former self. In fact, if I picked him up to my ear, you could hear the ocean. So he introduced me to some of the cronies he was playing gin with. One guy was a tree surgeon who had to retire, and he fell out of a patient. And another guy was a doctor who lost his license. They found him making love to a patient. It's too bad. He said he was the best veterinarian in Philadelphia. Like I told you, there I was in the doctor's office with him. And you hear sounds. So I suddenly, one of the gentlemen in the group stood up and he let one go. Oh, my God. And this man was there with his wife. How dare you fart before my wife? I didn't know it was her turn. I have to tell you, it's such a delight to work for a group. A lot of you still have your original needs. Because I worked in Florida, like I told you, 85. You're in the children's dining room. I I did a show for seniors last week. By the time I was through, there wasn't a dry seat in the house. And people say, seniors, what? Look, they still ask, how come a man like Bob Dole running for president, he winds up in the pilot program for Viagra? There was a reason for it. When he was running for president, and they called him, he thought, they said, this will help you with your election. And people asked me, he said, what have you been doing lately? Lately, well, I did 2 movies. I was in Goodfellas, and I was in Godfather 3. You couldn't see me. I was in the trunk of a car. But this has been a big week for me. You're in the business, I can tell you. I got a call from Spielberg. He said, Mickey, we're going to go one beyond E.T. I went home, I figured out, one beyond E.T. is F.U. And then I got a call for a low-budget picture. I said, low budget. I heard of it. First of all, he asked me to chip in for Phil. Then you heard of single role, double role. This was a triple role. He wanted me to play the part of a married couple with a kid. But this has been a big week. I signed a record deal with Columbia Records. If I buy 2 albums a month, so I have to tell you, this is true. It's a delight to work on a happy occasion. It is, because getting laughs now for a comedian with what's going on, really, you can't top Bush for laughs. So, it's very difficult. It is. Now, I have been working for Toyota. And you saw the comedy festival, the Toyota festival. Well, they have comedians performing in all different areas. Well, I have been working in hospitals. So you go to a hospital and you do your act in front of a patient, and they photograph it, and then they show it in the wards. Well, I came to one hospital in Morristown. I was standing there in front of a patient, and I sang, I danced, I did my best jokes, stories. I was on for 35 minutes. As I was leaving, I said to him, I hope that you get better. He said to me, you too. And so may I say, Sherry, darling, in the parking lot of life, you're a Rolls Royce. And like Rolls Royces, they become more valuable as they grow old. So as my dear friend, Miss Barry says, Claire Barry says, forward, go forward. That's all. Keep it up, you're doing wonderful. All right? So. What time tomorrow?
We have a special person here tonight, one of the most adorable performers in show business, and his name is Soupy Sales. I'm going to tell a story out of, well, maybe I should, I'll tell it anyway. Because I'm 85, I can do anything else. Brandon and Soupy were in Hellzapoppin in Canada around 1967. And Soupy met Trudy, who's now his wife. And one night as they were going out the door, Soupy whispered to Brandon, tonight's the night. He was out 2 minutes and he came right back because he had forgotten his hat. And Brandon said, how was it? Now, I'd like to continue and show you 3 more segments of the videotape. The first one is a short little production number with the adorable chorus girls. And the second part, well, the second part is where I brought a man up on stage and sang to him. And the third part is self-explanatory. Can we have the lights down, please? Thank you, Suki, for coming.
I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, nearly reach the sky. Then, like my dreams, they fade and die. What is always hiding? I looked everywhere. Oh, I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. 2, 3, 4. I'm forever blowing bubbles. Empty bubbles by the pair. They float through space with very grace. Till body winds and bombs their race. Here's the bubble pouring. I peek everywhere. Oh, I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. Pretty bubbles in the
Now, in my time in burlesque, in order to become a greater drawing power, you would try to establish greater intimacy with the audience. And you would do so by bringing somebody up on stage and singing to them. Only in those days, you'd be taking your life in your hands. I'm going to do the same thing tonight, but I'm going to be smarter about it. I'm going to find me a nice man with a smiling wife. I'll tell you who I'd like. Would you like to come over there and help me? You look like a very, very juicy victim. Come on, meet me over there. Will we be in the way of the cameras? Come on, come on. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you. Oh, I'm sorry, I was supposed to clear this side. Okay, come on up. Now, I'll tell you, all you have to do is sit down in the chair, relax. You don't move a muscle, you don't do a thing, I'll do it all. When's the last time you heard that?
Not lately.
Not lately? I'll have to talk to you later. Now, how's your stamina?
Very good.
Very good? Okay. How's your resistance?
Poor.
Poor? Good for me. How's your wife?
Lovely.
Lovely? Well, I am very, very happy to get this gorgeous hunk of man up here. And Michael, let's tell him what he deserves, shall we? Don't do a thing, just relax. Doesn't he look relaxed? You deserve 16 lackeys waiting on you night and day, and 32 hands waving fast just to brush your cares away. How you doing so far? You deserve Persian maidens just to stand and peel your grapes. Dressed in pearls, bigger than I am. Girl, in 30 captain sizes and shapes. If I had the riches of Sumatra, I would give you all I own. Wow! You deserve a quick lunch with a master. Come along and share your throne. But you'll find out I'm the right one. I don't know what'll happen now. See, 'cause what you deserve, you're gonna get. And baby, what you'll get is me. He's rocking me. I'm having the nicest time. If I had an island I could run to, I would run if you'd be there. Would you like to say a few words over the microphone? Lady like to marry, or just a pretty millionaire. But you'll find out I'm the right one. Time alone will make you see. 'Cause what you deserve, you're gonna get. And baby, what you'll get is me. Now, when I count to 3, I'd like you to stand up, if you can. Baby, 1. Oh, how you'll get it. Baby, 2. Oh, how you'll get it. Baby, 3. Oh, how you'll get it from me. Give me a kissy pose. Oh, you're a darling. Now be careful. Be careful. Thank you. Now, thank you. Now I would like to talk to his wife. She's still smiling, so I'm okay. May I ask what your name is? Midge. And your husband's name? He's your what, Carl? He's your what? He's your friend. Well, how friendly are you? Very friendly? You rehearsing for anything in particular? I'll tell you, Carl and Midge. Midge, you've been an absolutely delightful lady, and I'm grateful to you for lending me your friend, Carl. And you can take Carl home now. He is ready. Thank you. Did you hear what she said? I love her. She said, thank you. Now, I'd like to give you a lesson in anatomy, mine. But before that, I'd like to talk about a stripper's work clothes. Briefly, of course. While some started with gloves, gowns, even tiaras, when it got down to bare facts, a stripper's best friends were 1, her pasties, and 2, her G-string. This is a pasty. Isn't it cute? Looks kind of like a little dunce cap, doesn't it? Only it doesn't go on your head. It gets pasted to the tip of the bosom. And for a girl who is not particularly well endowed, it makes much ado about nothing. As for the G-string, no one knows where the term started, but I'm sure it had nothing to do with the violin. If it had, I think many boys would have paid more attention to their music lessons. But actions speak louder than words. And while I was tempted to modernize this portion, I think it would be more fun to present it exactly as it was. The same music, the same dance, the same costume, and more or less the same body as when I first began. Well, more or less.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present Miss Sherry Britton.
you look good.
How different. How different is it today? Wait, babe. Anyway, now we come to a very sweet part of my life. In my career, there was a lot of glory, but there was also a lot of insecurity. And then I met Robert Gross. Lovey, I came to call him. Damn it! Damn it! I'll collect myself in a minute. I had racked up, by that time I had racked up 16 engagements, which meant 16 blood tests. By the time I met Bob, I needed a transfusion. Well, after a 12-year insane on and off courtship, he finally gave up and got married. You know, on that day, I was 53 years old, and on that day, I realized that for the very first time in my life, I knew where I was going to be tomorrow. What a difference a day made, 24 hours, brought the sun and the flowers, where there used to be rain. My yesterdays were blue, dear, and I was part of you, dear. My lonely nights were through, dear, when you said you were mine. What a difference a day made, with a rainbow before me. Nights are no longer lonely, since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss. There's heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day made, and the difference was you. My lovey gave me 18 years of those wonderful tomorrows, filled with adventure and joy and fun. His final gift to me, as I nursed him in the last 7 years of his life, was his sanity-saving, wonderful sense of humor. He was a tough act to follow. What a difference a day made, and the difference was you. Oh, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. that made this truly a happy birthday.
Sherry told me some time ago, she said, when I had, this was a Burlesque show, right? She said, Sylvie came with a very, very tall, beautiful showgirl. She said, that was 20 years ago. I said, would you believe it? That showgirl is still here, and ladies and gentlemen, there she is. Sure is. You were great at this trip. I think I've seen you now at Loman's in the Britton. Wonders. What a lovely party.
Thank you.
Come on. What?
Folks, this is my sister.
Fantastic, Sharon. Thanks so much. Happy birthday.
I'm so glad.
Thank you very much.
We'll be at the next one.
That's what it looks like.
You look weird.
I'm the only one here who could say it still looks good.
Thank you. That's pretty good. You know what my doctor said? He said it still looks good. Thank you. Thank you.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take
Your family was here.
That's a long time.
It's in a couple of weeks.
What?
In a couple of weeks.
Your which birthday?
My 86th birthday.
No.
Sure.
No.
Oh, sure.
No.
We're going to celebrate together. I'm going to take you.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Thank you. Helen, dear, I'm so glad you were here. Thank you. Oh, I thought it was Al, her son. I'm so glad you
Sherry, I'll talk to
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. You understand bigger things.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much for a wonderful experience.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday, my dear. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it was a great night. It was beautiful.
Tracy came all the way from Texas. Yes. I'm glad you came. Are you glad you came?
Oh, yes, very glad. Yes. Just kidding. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that? This is just a funny card. It's a funny card.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I dropped it.
Take the envelopes. It's not a bar mitzvah.
I told you I dropped everything.
Read it later. It's a funny card.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Take care. Take care.
Sharon, you were fabulous. You look gorgeous. I'm so proud of you wearing your suit.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm so glad you came.
I'm thrilled. Thank you for having us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Take a shot at
Honey,
this.
all right? See you,
She
darling.
said it was just a funny card. Oh, like my suit? Oh, Susie, I'm so glad you came. If I only knew what I was talking about, I'd be fine. But I'm so glad. You are so adorable. You know, I never saw you on TV until I saw your show on, Players. I never saw you because it was always, I fell in love with you. I did. You're adorable. Oh, I hope so. I was so touching. Oh, I can't do that.
What?
Crying. I'm always crying. Go forward.
You got me
What a
crying.
difference a day makes. Just saying it makes me cry.
What you do, it was beautiful. Real.
Thank you. Good night.
Many more birthdays like
Oh.
5 years. I'll be 90.
Okay.
But I'll have a facelift.
And you'll be 90 and I'll be 62.
You don't need to do anything.
I can't hear. I told you I was deaf. I didn't hear.
Don't forget to send our love.
It's good to see you.
Tell her how much you
Thank you for the invitation. What memories? Absolutely sensational. Absolutely, absolutely. Stay well. That's all I want to know. Is that you?
Yes,
Okay, my
you
love.
too.
Okay,
You
love. Thank you.
So, sweetheart, what's new?
We go back, we have so many experiences together, I can't tell you. 23 chorus girls, but Shoily wanted marriage, so he didn't have Shoily. I wish I knew what I was doing.
Okay, I told you, you don't have to think.
Okay.
You gotta give me a kiss.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm leaving tomorrow. You know.
Oh, no, I didn't. But I am so glad you came, so glad. So I'm going to wait 5 years?
No. I'm going to come back again.
Okay.
Wish you'd come out to the house.
Soon.
Gamble, we go to Las Vegas.
Yeah. Soon.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take care. Have a good trip back.
Thank you.
I'm just going to say a quick goodbye. Thank you so much for having me. That was wonderful. I'm so sorry Raphael wasn't here because he would have been just
Well, but I'm having a videotape.
And probably so can we come watch it with you? Or you come over and watch it with us?
I'll let you have it and you can watch
Okay.
it.
That would be great. That would be great. I would love that. I'll see you around the park.
Okay.
It was beautiful.
You're so pretty. It always surprises me. I don't know why.
Gorgeous. You are gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm so glad you birthday. So glad. Thank you. And thank you for being so good to my
She deserves to be.
She's a lovely person.
She'll be fine.
I don't know how she would get along without you. I mean that. I mean that.
She's a good person. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
Take care.
You
Okay.
Very happy birthday, sweet 16. Meet me at the stage door. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Oh,
Just
yes.
marvelous.
Oh,
19. Honest.
Did you hear that?
I
She
said
said,
it. What I said this to her
19.
before.
Yes.
I said 63. She
Really?
was like a hero.
So-
And she agreed.
Thank
You're
you.
still
Talk to you soon. We're gonna make
You're still
we're gonna make a
beautiful.
luncheon date.
Okay.
You're still beautiful.
Sure you are.
This was unbelievable. It was fabulous,
But
and I
it's so
will.
fun. Oh, thank you. But my,
I'll be, what?
Look like
my doctor, my doctor said outside, you know, I said I'm going to
Yeah,
show a strip.
right.
He said, only I can tell what you look like now. Oh, but he was very sweet. He said something about what you look the same. Sure.
Come on, be well.
God, you both can. Thank you.
And I will call you. Thank you for
Yes,
that.
because
But
I'd
you,
like to help if I
thank you.
can.
This was really, I'm so, I can't tell you how moved
jealous.
I am. No, it's not that at all. It's not, I'm not. I'm very moved. Truly.
Enjoy it? Enjoy it? Yeah? Yeah?
We enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Did you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Did you get a sex education?
Yes.
Yeah?
I'm
Okay,
trying
which
to
wasn't
tell
bad though, was it?
And the school, you know, on my house, everybody is playing. You know, my brothers, my sisters.
Good, 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 good. So I'll see you next Friday.
Yeah. Thank you very much and happy birthday. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful evening.
Enjoyed
Enjoyed everything.
I hope so.
And Tally was sitting next to me during dinner.
She left.
I don't know, she just disappeared. I thought that...
No, she left.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, long before this.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
It
thank
was
you.
delightful. Thank
I'll
you.
see you Wednesday.
Yes, okay. Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. It was so wonderful to see you
I
like
always
this.
forget rather how pretty you are. You are something, my eyes always open wide.
My best friend.
Adorable.
Oh,
Adorable.
you were
I'm so
gorgeous.
glad you
I have to
both
tell you.
came.
It's wonderful. Happy birthday, many more.
Thank you.
Really, we had such a good time.
And maybe my last dance. Who knows?
No, you're going strong. Hey, Molly. Dress? Don't you like it? Go get one. You were so entertaining. I love the show.
Don't look like
I
that.
can't wait to see more.
Somebody's having to beat you in to take you.
Take care. We'll see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Happy birthday, honey.
Guess what I'm doing with the computer?
We love you.
I'm giving it
listen.
all to Malaine tomorrow.
Okay.
We knew that, but listen,
Yeah.
you have to teach me how to dance so that when I'm 63, he'll still like really be happy. Okay? Promise?
I hope that's not all the attraction. I hope
No, no,
there's
no.
more
Just
than that.
But
Yeah,
it would make him like really happy. And if I could look like that, hey.
You did good, kid.
Oh, you were wonderful.
Okay, oh,
We love you.
So in 5 years, we're going to do this again?
Yes.
Okay.
Promise?
Yeah.
Promise. We're going to hold it together now.
I hope I'm around.
Oh, you will come and cut the line. We're not sure about us.
Hey,
You have to have family rights, you know?
Remember him?
Darling, my Sean, my Sean.
Hopefully next year I'll be here in the city and going to school, so maybe if you need an extra person for your game, I'm all in.
Well,
Bye-bye, Emily.
you know, if you want to stay down here or what, if you don't feel like going home or something.
Well, I'll be in a dorm.
Huh?
I'll be in a dorm, but I'll come visit you all the time. It'll be cool.
Please.
Okay.
Please do. Okay.
See you soon. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Me next, me next.
Barry.
You are absolutely gorgeous. You're breathtakingly beautiful, really.
Tapes, Jane would like to know.
Where was it? Were you stripping? Where were you? Were you up like in the Catskills or New York or Vegas?
No, Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay.
Unbelievable.
Bye, thank you so much.
Have a great time again. So nice to meet you.
I don't know if I'll be able to drive for your 110th one.
You'll make it.
That's
You'll
right,
make it
that's
or
right.
else. Absolutely.
I'll see you.
Okay, take care.
You're looking good.
My first baby.
I've grown a few years. Night all.
Bye.
Thanks so much for inviting me, Sharon.
You're welcome.
Looking
Look
beautiful.
at that beauty you've got.
It was
You know why I say he was my first baby? I took care of 6 babies that his mother, I'd say, let's have another baby, and she'd have another baby. That's why she had 6 of them.
I had 6
There's
kids in my
something
family.
that's driving me crazy.
The light.
It was bothering. Yeah, it was. There are things from the light that bothered
The
me,
lights.
but I went on anyway. It was driving me crazy. Anyway,
I'll see you Wednesday. We're going to have a game this week?
sure.
I'll see you Wednesday.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to make it a definite. So,
I hope so, because it's hard for a young guy. We're all old and dumb and deaf and blind.
well, once they take me for my money the first time.
Oh, it's hysterical. The group. Tally, who's the most confused of
She
all,
was
she
here.
left.
Yeah, she left early. She didn't hear the announcement. She didn't hear the announcement. But I'll see you, and I'm going to bring my friend Hercules one day. He's a Greek boy who likes to play football.
I'd like that.
Thanks for that, and
Thank
have
you
a
so
lovely
much.
night.
Oh,
I'll call you Wednesday.
okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
Nice meeting you.
Cousin Edie, wonderful show. It's amazing.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
So glad.
Me too. Me too. I'm very glad.
It was good. You're so glad it's over, right? Are you glad it's over?
Yeah. Yeah, because first of all, there's something in the light that was driving me crazy. I tried not to pay attention to it, but it was distracting.
It's probably stage fright.
You see?
Yeah, right
Does
there.
it bother you?
Well, I couldn't do it.
No, I'm talking about
The
the
lights,
light.
yeah. It's
driving me crazy.
Thank you so much.
Al, I'll see you tomorrow.
God willing,
Yeah,
yes.
well, Britton, I'm calling in, so we'll be in after about 1-ish. Is that all right? All right.
It was marvelous. You are still in
Hey,
fine
Sherry.
voice.
Oh, yeah.
No, my
Kill the
voice
spotlight.
is terrible.
Yeah, kill the camera.
Better than mine ever
I
was.
wish I could have seen you as that. I haven't seen what I saw tonight. Thank
Oh, she was
I
wonderful.
got a standing ovation every night doing Adelaide's Lament.
I believe it.
Incredible.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, I
See you
loved
tomorrow.
it. Okay.
And thank you very much for joining.
Okay. Oh, my pleasure. My
Are you
pleasure.
going back to the street? You want company? Or
Yes.
you going home to go to bed? Or your people coming over now? What are you doing?
You want to wait and walk me over?
Well, yeah, we
Are you all together?
No, like 5 or 6 people, that's it. My wife, Dawn, her boyfriend. We're waiting. Because we're hanging out in the city anyway, that's what I'm saying. We're not going anywhere, so if you mind having people come over for a few minutes, then we'll go.
Fine.
Yeah,
Now,
okay.
wait a minute.
So take it, do what you gotta do, we'll be out front. All right? Bye.
Cousin Edie, it was good. It was great seeing you. Good night.
Thank
Happy
you,
birthday
honey.
again.
I'm glad you came. Yeah. I didn't announce you or any of the other helpers. God. Unforgivable. Paul, where did you put the bag, the plastic shot?
Finish the video.
Couple of what? Okay. See you in 5 years. I hope.